Hi, I'm Paul, and this week I'm out in the beautiful Waikato countryside testing the Yamaha Super Tenere. When people think of big bore adventure bikes, they tend to think of Ewan and Charlie riding around the world on those big bore BMW GS's. But to be honest, it was Yamaha who were one of the first ones around with a big adventure bike with their Tenere, which was around in the early 80s. Now the original machine was 750cc, was really more of an off-road bike than a road bike, but was great for riding across deserts and generally getting around Africa and places like that. Well, this one, I'm not quite sure whether you'd really want to ride around Africa on, but on roads like this we're on today, on metal roads around the Waikato, it's absolutely perfect. Now this Super Tenere has got a bit more in the engine department than the original 750. In actual fact, it's a 1200cc parallel twin, and it provides huge amounts of torque, so out on the open road, this bike really does munch the miles. But the Super Tenere hasn't lost its Tenere roots, and what you can do here is stick a set of knobblies on and get out here into the countryside and have a bit of fun on your favourite metal road. Now, as you'd expect with any top-of-the-range adventure bike, the Super Tenere comes with a whole heap of gadgets, including traction control and ABS brakes. Now the good news is the traction control is switchable, so you've got two different levels, one which brings the traction in really early, and two which lets you have a bit of spin if you want to get round corners and slide a bit. But there's also the good one which is off, so you can turn the traction off and really have a bit of fun with all the power of this machine. Now the ABS unfortunately isn't switchable, so you can't turn it off, although Yamaha tell us that they've actually designed it to be as good off-road as it is on the road. The other aspect of the ABS system that won't be enthralling the off-road members of the fraternity out there is that the brakes are actually linked on this bike. So if you touch the back brake, it's also pulling a piston at the front, which isn't the greatest thing if you really are going to be using this bike heavily off-road. Now another neat little feature of the Super Tenere is what they've done at the back here. Now as you'd expect, bikes designed to take people around the world with a tent and a credit card, you need to be able to carry a bit of luggage. So the back seat comes off, the rack comes off, you unbolt the handles, turn them upside down, and you get a nice flat pad at the back for strapping your tents or your spare wheels or whatever it is you want to take around the world with you. Now there's a few things to talk about down here, the first being this fantastic engine, which just is so smooth yet supplies so much torque on the road and off the road. Is absolutely fantastic to use. Now Yamaha once again have thought about this bike. The seat's adjustable so you can put it up and down whether you've got long legs or short. There's also this adjuster here for the suspension, so if you want to soften it up or harden it up if you put a load of weight on the back, all you've got to do is twist this dial. Now the best bit are the foot pegs down the bottom. They look like your ordinary rubber foot pegs that you'd see on a road bike, but the way they're designed is when you stand up on them, it compresses the rubber and gives you the nice points from a grippy off-road foot peg. Now they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but from my eyes this Super Tenere looks absolutely fantastic, and I love the way that they've used the Yamaha colours from the original Tenere just to tie in this bike to its heritage. Now, there's a few things to talk about up front here, the first being this adjustable screen. Now unfortunately it's Mantronic, so you don't press a button to get it to go up and down electronically, you have to do it yourself. But it's just a couple of screws, undo it, loosen it off, lift it up, and it'll reduce buffeting and just make the ride a bit more comfortable for you. Another thing are these lights, which are absolutely fantastic at night time, so you don't have to have spotlights and things hanging off your bike just so you can see in the evening. Heading around the back, and unfortunately Yamaha have been forced to fit the hugest exhaust pipe you've ever seen in your life, which I imagine every single Super Tenere owner will rip off and throw in the rubbish bin as soon as they buy the bike. Now Yamaha have pulled off a pretty neat trick with this Super Tenere. It is undoubtedly a fantastic bike, and it's got the typical Yamaha build quality, which means it'll pretty much tackle anything and will go forever. What they've also managed to do is bring this Yamaha in at $24,999, which is significantly cheaper than the big bore adventure bikes out there. Plus that price also includes the traction control and the anti-lock braking on it, so really you don't need to be buying anything else. Now obviously if you do, Yamaha have got a whole heap of factory parts that you can get, including the big metal panniers and bigger screens, little indicators, and pretty much anything you could desire to dress your Super Tenere up. For me, this Super Tenere is pretty much perfect as it is. All I'd do is invest probably in a set of panniers, so I could use it for work, commute around town, and pretty much fill it up with what I want. But then at the weekends, it will be ideal to get away on, go ride up a beach, go ride down a gravel road, or go and commute up and down the country. It can turn its hand to anything.